Following the microfinance defrauding of customers, it's become important for all stakeholders to help in sanitizing the country's financial sector. This interview seeks to look at how fraud in the financial sector can be reduced, looking at the case of DKM and all that came up, all those issues that came up in the microfinance sector. My guest this evening is Eunice Bracco-Marfo. She's Executive Secretary at GASALC, and Elvis Ohinuba, who's also a member of GASALC. I'll start off with you, Eunice, first of all. You are with the Savings and Loans Association.
Yes.
I imagine there must be a difference between savings and loans and microfinance.
Yes, there is. There's a difference in so many ways. In terms of capital provision, there's a difference because savings and loans companies are supposed to provide capital requirement of 15 million compared to microfinance companies of 2 million now. It used to be very low, 100,000, because of issues that has happened recently. We had to review the capital requirement to 2 million. So those are some of the issues, and we also have a difference between them in terms of the service provision. Even though there are some similarities in terms of the methodology that we use, there's a perception out there that savings and loans companies are seen as microfinance companies, and that is why we are thinking that it's better to sanitize the public to understand some of these things, so that issues that happen in the sector does not affect everybody in the system.
So, Elvis, microfinance is an advancement of savings and loans.
Precisely. I just wanted to top up to what she just mentioned. And beyond all that she mentioned, in terms of mandate, I mean, we differ quite a little bit. And when I talk about mandate, I'm just referring to what we have been asked or authorized to do as a company. And vis-a-vis what microfinance institutions have been asked to do as a company, as companies as well. You realize that primarily they are to offer loans and take deposit and investment, but we go beyond that, right? We go beyond that. We're able to offer international transfer services, and then of course engage in other international trade as well. And we are also able to have our check clearing through our partner banks, and of course, and all that. And then apart from the mandate, also you can also see that in terms of target, we are quite different from them. Of course, the basic target for both savings and loans and microfinance is to support the growth of SMEs, right? But beyond that, microfinance institutions are our target for also. They are targeting targeting small and medium-scale enterprises that are quite micro. And then, of course, they are also our prime orientation. But the microfinance institutions themselves are also our prime target. Right, so we are able to assist them like the way we assist any other business. So we can see that in terms of capacity and all that, we see that we're quite big. And of course, in terms of also the product mix, we also realize that we offer so many product ranges than they are able to offer. Of course, as a result of the mandate that we have quite a large mandate in terms of what we can offer compared to what they can also offer. So in the broad spectrum, you will see that beyond the mandate, beyond capital requirement, there are so many facets in terms of operational model and all that we differ from the microfinance institutions.
So in recent times, we had a lot of fraud associated with microfinance operations. How are you advising yourselves?
Well, in terms of that, we have to find a way to sanitize the system. And in terms of the fraud, we can't say this. I mean, we are not going to point to who is wrong or not. But looking forward, we're going to find a way to sanitize the system for every client to know what to do, the type of decisions they have to take, so that they don't get caught up in such instances. So some of the reasons
is it all in a bit to woo customers and clients, because you've got loads of them, lots of microfinance companies, lots of savings and loans companies springing up. So you want to find a way to remain attractive, and that's why they make all sort of outrageous promises to people.
Well, there are categorization. Even though there are a lot of companies springing up, we are all categorized in different ways, so that when you're talking about microfinance, they have their category in the tier 2, And that is why they are, in terms of mandate, they have their restrictions. And when it comes to savings and loans companies, you have your mandate as well and your categorization where you have to operate. But in terms of the operation model, and there are so many similarities, that is what confuses the clients. Okay, so we think that we have to project where we do better, how we impact on the lives of the client. So we think that even though we all provide financial institutions, financial services in terms of, savings, deposits, investments, savings and loans companies do more in terms of even ATM services. Just to highlight on some of the areas that we do for the client to know what decisions to take. The client needs to have that right of understanding who to deal with and who not to deal with.
Elvis, where does the association come in? Do you offer, or do you provide a supervisory role?
Basically, yes. As a mother company, I'm in the GALSAC, or the Savings and Loan Industry Association. Basically, it's there to spearhead the activities of the members, and then also ensure that the members are able to meet the regulatory requirement. So in terms of supervision, of course, I would say that the association is quite limited, because the broader organization to supervise the activities and operations of
Central Bank?
Precisely, Central Bank.
Yeah.
And beyond that, there's little anybody can do. So in terms of real supervision, I would say that it is the prerogative authority and then the right of the Central Bank. But of course, as I said, because of regular meetings and business executive meetings and training that the association offers to its members, members are quite in an advantageous position to be able to meet the regulatory requirement that have been prescribed by Bank of Ghana. So even though in terms of regulation, in terms of actual implementation of regulation and actualization of regulatory framework and what have you, the association is quite limited, but there are other spill of activities that it does to ensure that members are able to meet the regulatory requirement. And of course, beyond that, I think that as an association, we have rules and regulations. They are bylaws, and of course, before you be able to meet the requirement, of course, one of the key requirements is that you should be compliant to Bank of Ghana regulations. So obviously,
right. Sorry, Eunice. So how many members do you have now?
We have 28, because we're having lots of companies coming in. In fact, the association is voluntary. It's not something we have to push on people. But if we are able to make it mandatory, it makes it easier to loop in everyone and to be a stronger voice. So we think that is something we have to talk with Bank of Ghana. We are already doing that, and it takes time for that to happen. So that's what we are. But currently, we are 28 members, and we have about 3 companies to 4 out there that are not yet members, but they are licensed to operate, and they are either operating now or they are on the verge of operation. Yes, and to touch on some of the things that Elvis said, to talk about the mandates and some of the activities of the association, we do provide capacity building for our members in terms of the training areas that we see in the system that has to be addressed by the secretariat. Because when we look at some of the things that the things that are going on in the industry, you find that there's a lot of things we can do to support them to improve their operations. So we do that through the capacity building. And we also provide services like advocacy and networking through various means, so that you are able to network the people that are in the same sector, so that if you are, you don't have some idea about other things, it's easier for you to do things through that network.
We've got to wrap up. Yeah. There's a lot of uncertainty about operations of financial institutions like microfinance, savings and loans companies. I know you are set on an agenda to essentially rebrand, your activities and your operations, what you do. What's the way forward?
For savings and loans companies and of course the institution at large, the key is, as you rightly mentioned, is brand and differentiation. And one of the key things that we have taken on our heart is to try to demonstrate to the world and the general public what savings and loans have been able to do in the lives of an ordinary person working in the street. If I take my company as an example, sorry, I have to mention Advanced Ghana Savings and Loans as an example. we've really been able to help, alleviate poverty to a greater extent. We pick people from diverse social background, and through the services, the product that we offer, we have been able to elevate their social status. And then once, of course, the social status of the individuals we deal with improve. Ultimately, the communities that they are also living in are also affected. Of course, the general country, for the matter, is affected.
All right.
And of course, beyond that, we also do, as she mentioned, advocacy programs. We are on radio stations, we are on television stations, all everywhere in Ghana.
All right, I'm afraid we've got to go. My time is up. Thank you very much, Eunice Bracco Marfo, Executive Secretary at GALSAC, and Elvis Oheneba, who's a member also of GALSAC. Thanks very much, gentlemen and lady, for your time. Have a good day.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you for having us.